Hi everyone, welcome to the EPTL Podcast. I have with me Shri Alok ji. Shri Alok ji is someone who did his engineering from the MBM College, Civil Engineering from 2001. He served he served to various Indian as well as MNCs for almost 15 years. His expertise would rely on, let's say, the refinery works, the infrastructural projects, or perhaps the highway projects as well as the environmental engineering projects that he has done all across these 15 long years in across pan India. In 2018 September, he formed an organization called Geostorm Infrastructure Private Limited with his partner and director, of course, Ram Gopal Soni. Sir, I do welcome you to the EPTL podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your gesture, sir, and at the same time, on behalf of the Geostorm Infra India Private Limited and being a proud partner of Engineers Premium Tunnel League, I welcome you also, and I also reciprocate with the same gesture. Okay, with this podcast on the same platform, we had a great opportunity to interact with you and to discuss Geostorm legacy, plus as well as in order to introduce the EPTL, how it has came to the picture, and the same time my interest with the EPTL. So thank you very much for calling me.
Wonderful, sir. Sir, I want to dive right into what is Geostorm. What exactly is the company doing? What is the mission, vision, and the idea behind it?
Geostorm Infra India was came into the picture after you can say after serving 15 long years in the different infrastructure industry, and with an idea of this that we just want to be an associated with growing Indian infrastructure with our own entity, so that we can encash our experience. At the same time, we just want to build our own empire. Rightly talking about Geostorm. Geostorm is a company in the infrastructure field, rather than we can say infrastructure specialized field. You must have been heard about the environmental engineering point of. Okay. Right now, this parameter, saving the environment, how to save the environment, what are the repercussions if we play with the environmental. So at the same time, the civil engineering in field of the environmental engineering. Okay, how this parameter by which we can use the waste into the highways, into the different infrastructure field, so that the same this waste material can be used, and at the same time it how it supports into the infrastructure field. Geostorm Infra India Private Limited is one of the key company who provide support into the primarily into the highway sector of the India. Okay, the vision and the mission of the same was the same thing. Like you can say ki, the idea of Geostorm is purely about serving into the growing Indian infrastructure field, sir. At the same time, we had a vision also. We had a vision also that since now India is developing, India is a developing country. At the same time, with the pace of the Indian market, Indian overseas market, how can we make a mark on this field, sir? So that was the main vision of the same. Yeah.
So I think it's a very excellent idea. Turning what you're trying to do is, of course, mix. I would say development with sustainability, and I think
Uh,
that's an excellent thought. That's an excellent idea to pursue a business. I'm very interested to know where did you think of perhaps associating with a sports like tennis and EPTL in particular? How did you come to think about it?
you can say there is a story behind it. Okay.
So I'd love to
Being
hear it. I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
so it's a kind of story that being into the corporate field, as I said, that we were into this multinational companies, so we were continuously busy in traveling. Most of the time was going into this lounges of the airports. At the same time, having you can say we were enjoying our life in the same and other way without any physical activity. It was purely about, you can say, going through the VCs, going through the meetings, traveling, eating, everything was going there. The idea to get associated with the sports field was purely because of the health reasons, sir. And the health reason was behind it that we were, since we were started our own venture, again we were in the same era of traveling, a lot of traveling and this. By this way, we have found out that there is no life for yourself. You're purely and purely associated with the business. You are purely dedicated how you want to grow into this field. You are meeting n number of the different fields, but going through with n number of the people who are, you can say, the key person in the companies, directors, you can say CEOs of the company. The one parameter which I found that at least they are having 2 or 3 hours for themselves, whether they were going into the gym, they were going into the swimming pool, they were having hobbies of different sports, okay, or they were, you can say, they were busy physically in different kind of activities. So while meeting all those persons, I just found that one should have at least 2 or 3 hours for themselves. By this way, one of my friend, he was also a tennis freak, tennis player. So he introduced me into the field, saying that why don't you start playing tennis? And you can say after 3 or 5 months of getting a rigorous coaching of my coaches, I spent a lot of hours into this coaching. एज यू कैन से इस चीज का एक नशा होता है सर. ये नशा जो है ये आपको लाइफ में उस लेवल तक लेकर के गया है कि दैट इवेंचुअली यू फाउंड कि दैट यस, आई हैव चूजन द राइट ट्रैक, आई हैव चूजन द राइट पाथ. And in nowadays, in the morning hours, whether it is Sunday or it's Monday, or whether you are going to have a hectic professional second half, but eventually at the same time you are spending 2 to 3 hours on the courts, sweating a lot, meeting different kind of peoples, at the same time socially being bonded with them. So this is, you can say, one of my story of how I get into touch with the tennis, sir. Yeah.
Sir, and then how then did you get into EPTL? Of course, was it through the courts only? How did you? So tennis में तो अब आप आ गए, रोज 2 घंटे आप sweat कर रहे हो. You're working it out, and I love the fact that you have emphasized a very interesting aspect, especially I would say people who would find very similar background and storylines such as you, जो मतलब business और job में इतना ज़्यादा डूब जाते हैं that they forget about health. But then when you do actually discover that there is indeed an alternative lifestyle, कि इसको आप अपने आप का एक बेस्ट वर्जन क्रिएट कर सकते हो, एंड हेल्थ इज वेल्थ, तब जैसे
Yeah.
कि आपने बोला एक आप यू बिकम ऑब्सेस्ड, एक नशा हो जाता है. तो आई वांट टू आस्क यू
जी.
कि सर ये टेनिस तो ठीक है, आप खुद के पर्सनल इंडिविजुअली कर रहे थे, हाउ डिड यू गेट एसोसिएटेड विद ईपीटीएल एंड व्हाई इन पर्टिकुलर?
Here, I would like to tell you that the founder member of the EPTL, Virender Singh ji. Okay. See, Virender Singh ji and myself are associated with the same, you can say, tennis court. He was bringing his son for the coaching over there, and under the same coach, we also get trained. So there, the acquaintance has started. मैंने उनको खेलते हुए देखा, उनके बेटे को खेलते हुए देखा, एंड हाउ डेडिकेटेड ही वाज फॉर द टेनिस. लाइक आई कैन से ही इज tennisolic, I think you can say the word will bring over here. So we were having a lot of discussion around, and at the same time when he had an idea about this EPTL, okay, I said that he is having this kind of mindset how to bring a different pan India engineers under one umbrella, so that we can have together having a sports atmosphere. At the same time, I just want to nurture this EPTL like this, the way IPL and the different leagues are being formed. Okay, so he is having a very clear idea and the mindset about how EPTL is going to start, how step by step he is going to nurture this EPTL. Means the vision and the prospect was very very clear. How Geostorm has been associated with the same thing is like that he is also a tennis freak. At the same time, my idea of getting Geostorm associated with the EPTL is having the same thing. Since I believe in getting more social with the people, and there are, you can say कि there's n number of engineers now associated with the EPTL. So at the same time ये कह सकते हैं कि आपके मन का भी एक स्वार्थ था कि यार आपको नए लोगों से जुड़ने को मिलेगा, और उसी के साथ साथ जब आप उन नए लोगों से मिलेंगे तो न केवल आपका खेल अच्छा होगा बल्कि आपका एक सोशल प्लेटफॉर्म जो है वो भी और ज्यादा उसका होराइजन और भी और बढ़ेगा. So that was the main reason that Geostorm should be and Geostorm will always be a part of EPTL for the future. That is for very sure. Sir.
Excellent that you said the word always.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to remind you, and when we have this podcast next season, I'll remind you that you said always. That would mean always. So I really do hope you have a very long-term relationship with us, sir.
Yeah, that will always be there. So far, so good. EPTL is being organized in Jaipur or ever in the any other part of the India. And since Mr. Virendra Singh ji is associated with the EPTL, I say it's a lifelong uh, journey will be there. Geostorm will always be there, whether in the small scale or the big scale. Geostorm will always be the key partner of the EPTLs.
सर एक मेरा ना डाउट है, मैं व्हेन आई सी पीपल लाइक मिस्टर वीरेंद्र सर, आई हैव बीन associated with him for far too long enough to realize, and even listening from your perspective, when I see people like you who work like 26 hours every day, मैं आपसे सिर्फ इतना पूछना चाहता हूँ सर, आप लोग को टाइम कहाँ से मिलता है? हाउ डू यू मैनेज एवरीथिंग? आई एम एज यंग एज आई एम रियली लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड to seeing people like you who work every the way that you do, so much so that I know that this meeting in itself was scheduled so many times because your work commitment was so hectic, your schedule is so hectic. So how do you manage to break it down for me? How do you manage your time?
See, I think that the first thing when you being a businessman or you being an entrepreneur, the first thing you need to find out how to break yourself and your work into a different zone, whether it is for yourself, whether it is for the company, whether it is for a family. One should have a very clear cut idea about when and why you are going to do this. See, at the same time, because a business or entrepreneur is almost like a kid, the way you nurture it, at the same time जब वो बड़ा होगा वो आपको एक रिपॉन करेगा इस चीज के लिए, तो आपको वो चीज बेनिफिशियल लगेगी. द सेम टाइम विद द टेनिस. सी व्हाई टेनिस, इस गेम का अपना एक ऐसा नशा होता है कि जब आप उसकी मॉर्निंग का एक कहते हैं 5 बजे के आसपास का एक बॉडी क्लॉक है जो खुद ही अपने आप को जो है जगा देता है. वो ये कहता है अब क्या करना है, because morning 5 to 8 you don't have any professional or even you can say you have personal commitment, no family commitment, no professional commitment. At the same time it is your own commitment to yourself, sir. तो वो टाइम जो होता है वो आप ही के लिए होता है. या आफ्टर 8 PM it is purely and purely family plus then professional commitment. So morning hours इसको कहते हैं कि जो है सूर्य उदय होने से लेकर के सूर्य के 8 बजने तक का जो समय होता है ये प्योरली और प्योरली टेनिस के लिए. राइट नाउ आई कैन टेल यू, आई वाज इन जालंधर लास्ट वीक morning. I found at a tennis court over there. Okay, I met the new people over there. At the same time they enjoyed my company and I enjoyed their company also. And at the same time I can say that मेरा professional link भी वहाँ पर एक establish हुआ. That is a new city for me. बट जब हम आप ही की फ्रीक्वेंसी के लोगों से मिलते हो जिनको टेनिस अपने आप में एक नशा, एट द सेम टाइम जब आप उनसे डिस्कशन करते हो तो आपको ये चीज़ समझ में आती है कि यस दे आर ऑल्सो इक्वली डेडिकेटेड फॉर देयर प्रोफेशन एज वेल एज टू द टेनिस. सर मेरा तो ये है कि सर और कोरोना के बाद के फील्ड में सबको ये बात बहुत अच्छे से क्लियर हो चुकी है कि हेल्थ इज वेल्थ. सर दुनिया एक तरफ है, अगर आप अच्छी हेल्थ कैरी कर रहे हो तो eventually you are going to survive a long periods.
Sir,
That is the key.
Sir, I'll get you in trouble with this question, पर मेरे को पूछना जरूर है. आपका दिन में
जी
यू वेक अप एट 5, 5 से 8 आप टेनिस खेल रहे हो, 8 से 8 लेट्स से दैट यू आर वर्किंग विद जियोस्टॉर्म, 8 o'clock is
या
family time. I'm going to get you in trouble with this question. Which is your favorite time of the day?
see my favorite time of the day is probably the evening when I spend that time with my children, sir. After 6:30 up to 10 o'clock in the evening, when that is the only time I get to spend my time with my kids and my family, sir. So that is you can say, because that is the most happiest time. जब आप उस समय होते हो तो आपके कोई प्रोफेशनल स्ट्रेसेस नहीं कैरी कर रहे होते हैं, आपका प्योरली और प्योरली पर्सनल टाइम आपके बच्चों को जो अब बढ़ रहे हैं एक बढ़ती हुई एज के साथ में, उनके एन नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जिनको डील करने में लगता है। और सीधी सी बात ये कहें कि जब आप अपने बच्चों से इंटरेक्ट करते हो, उनकी छोटी छोटी चीज़ों को सुनते हो और आप अपना एक्सपीरियंस जब उनके साथ शेयर करते हो कि वाई दिस एंड वाई नॉट दिस, तो वो जो मज़ा होता है एक डिस्कशन करने का, वो जो है अपने आप में बड़ा रिलैक्सिंग होता है। ये कह सकते हैं कि पूरे दिन भर की थकान को वो उतार देता है सर। तो दैट इज यू कैन से दैट इज द फैमिली टाइम इज द प्रेशियस टाइम फॉर मी सर।
Excellent, sir. Sir, one final question to you. What would be your message to all the people listening, young people listening, aspiring to become entrepreneurs as well as manage their tennis routine या फिर कोई भी sports वो खेलते हैं? What is your message to them? New India, young भारत आ रहा है, उसके लिए आपका क्या मैसेज है सर?
सर डेफिनेटली मैं इस आइडिया को हमेशा ही प्रोपोगेट करूंगा कि सर कि व्हेन यू हैव अ ड्रीम्स, ड्रीम बिग। क्योंकि हमने लाइफ के उस एज में शायद ये कह सकते हैं कि हमने एज ए बिजनेसमैन या एज ए एंटरप्रेन्योर बनने का रिस्क लिया जिस समय तक लोग अपनी लाइफ में सेटल हो चुके होते हैं। पर एट द सेम टाइम रिस्क लेंगे तो कुछ गेन होगा। इफ यू डोंट टेक द रिस्क, लाइफ इज नॉट इजी फॉर यू। हम ही उसी को कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बनाते हैं, लेकिन अगर हमने रिस्क टेकिंग कैपेबिलिटीज को बिल्कुल जीरो कर दिया तो उसके बाद में आपकी अपनी लाइफ से एक्सपेक्टेशन उतनी नहीं हो सकती जितनी होनी चाहिए। तो एज ए यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर, दो आई कैन से आई एम यंग, आई एम 45 नाउ, बट एट द सेम टाइम आई एम यंग एट हार्ट एंड विल ऑलवेज रिमेन यंग एट हार्ट। अपकमिंग जो बिजनेस है या जिस तरीके से हमारे डेडिकेटेड पीएम साहब है, मोदी जी है, जिनकी एक सोच है कि यंग इंडिया या स्किल्ड इंडिया की जो बात आती है, तो जो भी आप सोच रहे हैं आप उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने के 10 तरीके ढूंढिए। आप हमेशा प्लान ए के साथ एग्जीक्यूट ना करिए, आपके पास हमेशा प्लान बी और प्लान सी हमेशा दिमाग में होना चाहिए। और जब करने के लिए जाएं, आप ये मान के चलें अगर आपने उसको आधे घंटे का भी समय दिया है तो वो शायद आपके दिल से और पूरा डेडिकेटेडली निकलना चाहिए। हाँ, मेरी लाइफ का एक मिशन जरूरी है सर, एक बिल्कुल जरूरी है, वन डे वन टास्क। अगर मैंने आज के लिए कोई चीज एम सोचा है तो वो मुझे आज कंप्लीट करना है, ये मैं सोच के चलता हूँ। मैं 10 टास्क पकड़ करके किसी एक को भी ना खत्म कर पाऊँ, ये मैं कभी नहीं कर पाता हूँ। तो मैं वन डे वन टास्क की पॉलिसी करता हूँ। और जब रात को सोते हैं या जब रात को अपने आप के बारे में सोचते हैं कि व्हाट आई हैव अचीव्ड इन अ डे, तो मैं ये मान के चलता हूँ कि अगर आज मैंने कुछ अच्छा किया है तो वो ये 4 चीजें अच्छी करी है, और अगर मेरे से कुछ गलत हुआ है तो मुझे कल उसको कैसे सही करना है। I'll not go into the mode के भैया ये जो हो गया है वो अच्छे के लिए होता है, दैट इज क्योंकि वो अच्छे के लिए तभी होता है जब वो आपके मन को रिलैक्स करता है। अदरवाइज अगर आपके दिल ने ये बात कही है कि ये सही हुआ है तो वो सही है, गलत हुआ है तो गलत है, और गलत को सही करने की अपेक्षा आपके दिमाग में हमेशा होनी चाहिए।
जी सर। Sir, excellent,
Yeah.
excellent message, and I would say a very learning curve of a conversation for me. At least I took a lot out of it. I'm sure my audience will as well. So thank you again, Shri Alok ji, for joining us and sparing out your precious time.
Thank you.
I really do hope to see you on the venue, in J Club, 5th of October.
Yeah,
आप आएंगे
yeah.
hopefully.
Just for Geostorm is a partner of EPTL and I am the member of Jaipur Pink Panthers group का भी मैं member हूँ।
Great.
So
Sir,
definitely we are going to have a tough session around, जहाँ पर काफी enthusiastic भी रहेगा और hopefully आपसे भी मुलाकात होगी।
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल। And I really hope कि आप competitively तैयार हो to make sure कि Pink Panthers जीते। तो
I'll make sure that we go up to at least respectable level. जीतना तो है ही है सर।
अच्छा,
We'll go to the respectable.
ठीक है सर. पिछली बार तो शायद रनर्स अप थी आपकी टीम, तो नाउ दिस टाइम अराउंड रियली होप दैट दे वांट टू विन दिस.
या पिछली बार के गैप को हम कवर अप जरूर करेंगे. विल गिव अ टफ कंपटीशन सर. या
Okay, all right, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining in, and
थैंक
thank you everybody for listening. Please keep tuning in for the further episodes of the EPTL podcast. Thank you very much.
या थैंक यू वेरी मच.